Hey guys, so a bit of a disclaimer about this particular game. This is unranked. I wanted to test out Reign of Destruction. I wanted to play gul'dan and see if it's any good. But the disclaimer here is our team comp is really bad. This is unranked, and this is not the map you want to be playing gul'dan on. His race is abysmal. We have to pretty much win every single fight and wipe them in order to give us any time at all to race. Porky's messing around with another build at the same time. So generally, it's going to be a really weird game, but that doesn't mean this isn't a good example to show you the pros and cons about Reign of Destruction. So why am I making a Reign of Destruction video? Well, they've recently changed Reign of Destruction to where instead of you having to channel it for the entire 7 seconds, you now only have to cast it for 1.5 seconds, and then it just fires off without you afterwards, which means that during the time that Reign of Destruction is going off, you can cast any of your abilities, and it does add up to a decent amount of damage. Some of the problems with Reign of Destruction are still the fact that it's RNG of destruction. It could hit a target a bunch and do a lot of damage, or it could miss every single target you're going for. The other thing about it is it's easy to walk away from. It's a little bit of damage, which means that there are times it's really not that scary at all. So there's a lot of downsides to it, but honestly the biggest downside to Reign of Destruction is that you can't pick horrify. Horrify is often considered in the competitive scene as one of the best ultimates in the game. It can split up a team of 5, sending 2 of their members towards you, so you can kill 2 people while the others are horrified, they're gone. It also lasts for a decent amount of time and sends people back so far that you pretty much remove 3 people from the fight for about 5 seconds. A good horrify could honestly cocoon 3 of their targets and stun 2 of their targets while you can pretty much wipe them out. So it's such a great ultimate ability, which makes it so hard to pick anything else. But I've been one to say a lot of times that utility can be passed up by just damage abilities when the damage abilities get so strong. I remember when Alexstrasza got her Lifebinder change, I said that Lifebinder was busted and it was better than the other one, and everyone kept saying, well, Lifebinder might heal more, but the other one still brings way more utility. It repositions you, you can heal a variety of people, not just one. And I said, you know what, like, I still think the amount of healing from Lifebinder is better. And I even had like Alexstrasza mains like, NotParadox, you're wrong about this, and then it ended up becoming the must pick until it got nerfed. Even in the competitive scene. And it's just fascinating because there is a point where utility can be overshadowed if they buff something enough. And I wanted to see if Reign of Destruction's at that point. It does a good amount of damage. I've had games where I've gone against a gul'dan with Reign of Destruction before they've made this change, where I'm like, man, that actually did a lot of damage. And it's really making me wonder if it's getting up to that point where it's actually scary enough. So, let me talk a little bit about the rest of the build. I will say I'm just going a standard gul'dan build. Echoed Corruption is the one that increases the damage the most. If you look at Pursuit of Flame, it only increases the radius. Chaotic Energy, it only increases the healing and the range. Echoed Corruption's the only talent you can pick up at level 1 that actually increases your damage, and it also makes it to where you can really melt down frontliners, because you can hit 3 to 4 times with the frontliners if they try to stick in the fight a little too long. While I'm not great at getting this quest completed quickly, and especially on a map where we're just kind of fighting in a very chaotic manner, and they're kind of diving into the back line a little bit, just attacking me, it is one of those that's just generally better. Level 4, I pick up Consume Soul. So there's a lot of reasons why I pick Consume Soul. Firstly, it's just a really, really high burst heal that you can do. You just can walk up to a wave, and if anyone's ever chasing you into the wave, you suddenly heal yourself for 1,000 by eating 2 minions really quickly. It's also just a very strong talent for giving yourself any form of self-healing. In case your healer is just not wanting to heal you for any reason, it's a really good talent to eat a minion because it's just a pretty short cooldown. And finally, this talent actually got buffed in a very unusual way, where it didn't get a direct buff, but when all the catapult changes happened and the catapults start spawning for forts, you can eat a catapult with this. So not only are you eating a large minion instantly, but you're also gaining life out of it. So it's just a really cool talent. You know, I'll just dodge that E. Level 7, there's a lot of talents you can pick up when you're going a Rain of Destruction build. You can increase your spell power by 15%, and I think that would be a viable option, but they did just buff Bound by Shadows, and they made it to where instead of it reducing the cooldown of your corruption by 1, it's reducing the cooldown by 1.5. So I'll actually be getting a lot of corruptions off if I pick this talent, so I decided to go with this talent instead of Hunger for Power. So if you wanted a true Rain of Destruction build, I am not really going to be helping you out there because I'm not going that. Same with level 16. You could buff your Rain of Destruction by an extra 30%. I'm also not going that either. I'm just sticking with the E talent, just a basic build. So yes, there is a more commit-worthy version of Rain of Destruction where you get 15% extra spell power there and 30% extra spell power with your Darkness Within. Use your trait, and you're essentially doing 50%, 55% more spell damage on your Rain of Destruction, which would be a lot of damage. But honestly, I still just wanted that consistent damage that I can guarantee, not the randomness, which is why I went for those. You can see I'm getting a little low here. It would be great if I could leave a minion up or two so I could just go up and eat the minion. And you can see that big burst heal that I get from just eating one minion. It's just a really cool talent. I like it. And the other options at level 4, while they are pretty good, like you can get the cooldown back of Drain Life faster, I just don't like sitting still too long unless I'm like, and again, people troll me for my soul lane video. Again, another little juke there. I don't like sitting still too long unless I'm in the soul lane just really bullying one other person. And the other option is improved life tap. This is okay, but it doesn't really give you a burst heal in case you need it. It just pretty much makes it to where your life tap's a little bit stronger. Nothing too crazy. They eat a minion here, and I go back in. Again, just want to get my corruptions off. Decent amount of damage. But generally, I mean, we're losing objectives, and we're going to be struggling for a large portion of this game. So I'm actually going to fast forward until we hit 10. I believe we just give up this fort. Or maybe we just get a bunch of kills. I can't remember. Been a few days. So level 10s, I do pick Rain of Destruction. Wouldn't be a Rain of Destruction video unless I picked it. And we'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, I really want to pick apart how much value I get out of this. I'm still topping the damage with the exception of Hanzo. He is out damaging me. We do go for defense. We just don't have the race. We have to win these fights. So right off the bat, I see a good team fight. I decide I want to go for a Rain of Destruction, but I end up canceling my own Rain of Destruction, if I remember right. Actually, yeah, I do cancel my own. I'm not used to the cast time yet, and so we don't get the Rain of Destruction off there. We do see a dragon being used. I can go up to this and heal inside of there, and then we could possibly go for Rain if we want to. We don't really need it now because we already won the fight, so I won't worry about it. We're just going to go for the race. What I do, if you guys notice, I put my E in a position where two of them will always hit the Immortal. So it'll hit him twice and then come back and hit him 2 more times again. And it's just a way, instead of me getting 2 hits where I'd get an E off on him and then it comes back around, I get the 4. Which is why it's just really nice. So my race is not great by any means. But at least we can start doing okay in these objectives. Now, they're all available. We need to go on defense here. We can get a little bit of damage on him. I won't be able to get much more than just a single E. So right here, I go for a Rain of Destruction. So I actually want to unlock, because when I was playing this, I wasn't really paying attention too much. So I'm at 32,000 damage. Let's see how much it does. A little bit of chunk right there. A little bit of chunk right there. There's a little bit right there. And I've gotten a couple corruptions off. But generally, so let's stop right there. The Rain of Destruction, we did 5,000 damage between Rain of Destruction and Corruption and a couple Qs. Not bad. But could that 5,000, if I would have horrified, could it have led to more kills than that? Or did we not have the damage to even lead to those kills, even if I did go horrify this game? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hard to... It's really apples to oranges. Because even if I would have landed those, I mean, it's a major difference of like, in this team comp, Rain of Destruction might be better because we really don't have the damage. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. We could hit a Horrify and have a cloned Kerrigan out there with another Kerrigan. I feel we could pick off 2 targets really fast. I just dodge a Q here, you know. Between the Artanis swaps and the Murden, like, look at that. Like, I've dodged so many things this game as I immediately get hit by something. And Rain of Destruction's cooldown's also really long. I mean, Horrify's is not the shortest cooldown either, 80 seconds, but Rain's is 100. So it is one of those where you can only really use it every other fight or like save it for objectives. You can't use it all the time, which makes it kind of hard because if we ever start losing, like we've lost like almost all of our objectives so far. So it's just a really tough one to pick up. I mean, I'm getting a lot of damage here, but like right here, it's like I use a Rain and it just gets nothing done. It does kind of zone some people out, so we do get this kill on Murden. Which is okay, I guess. So level 13, again, if we're going for anything that increases the damage we deal, we're going to be picking up Healthstone because it just allows us to, one, burst heal ourselves in case like Greymane dives on us, but it also allows us to heal ourselves and you get an extra life tap off so we can get some more damage out there. Again, I did the same thing. I made sure that 2 of my E's would hit on the way up and 2 of my E's would hit on the way back. Before I have a heal go out, you see I always use life tap until I can't use it anymore. Only when I'm full health anyways. I don't do that like if I'm not full health. So this fight right here really shows the buff that happens by Bound by Shadows, where I got an E off and then I used a Q a couple times. I got another E off. And then I used a Q a couple times, and I have my E off cooldown one more time. So I got 3 to 4 corruptions in a very short fight, and this Bound by Shadow buff is really, really good. I do think they were trying to get people to not be taking Hunger of Power with Rain of Destruction, but I mean, it's just so consistent. It's so hard to take anything other than that. And again, another E. I mean, that's 2 more E's in a very short fight. We get a Q, and then I can get another E off, another one. So, I mean, it's like, that's a really good amount. He goes for me. I just drain off of him. I don't really... And again, we've got a nice throw coming out from Rico, 5,000. This is another thing that I love about E-Build, is you can get your damage over time, and you can hit 6 times on a fort. So, you can add a lot of damage over times to the forts. And after he uses his stun, I can pretty much just drain on him. I missed my E because I kind of thought he would go up instead of down. It's honestly not a miss on my part. It's a juke on his part. I mean, I'm not, again, I said at the beginning, I'm not the best at landing my E's, but that's still, I don't want to take anything away from him. He played that pretty well. So far we've lost every objective this game, and that's mainly just because our team comp. And again, that was a bit of my disclaimer. Before you like trash on the entire build, I will say that it's a bit rough when our team just is not the draft for this map. I go for the drain here first before my E because I just wasn't really sure exactly how he was going to dodge, and I didn't want to waste all of my abilities and get no damage off on him, so I went with the drain first so we could get him lower, and then I could see which direction he was going and drain from there. So I could immediately go for a Rain here, and we could try to race. And I may end up doing that. Instead, I just go for an E, a Q, and then it looks like I get my Q off cooldown and go for another E. So I stick with that. It's kind of annoying. So you see I use a health stone right at the beginning of that fight. And I take a step back in. I want to make sure I get a heal by the Alexstrasza. Gets the heal off. We go for the damage, and we kill him. So... I mean, generally, again, this build's not the safest because you don't have Horrify to just save yourself. But then again, Horrify should be used offensively most cases. But it's also still an okay build to be safe in. I mean, you don't lose the healing benefits, and you do get the health stones. So it's not bad. I do go Ruinous Affliction. I think this was probably my biggest mistake. in Rain of Destruction build. 30% more spell damage seems incredible for Rain of Destruction. So I do think that that was probably my biggest mistake in this build. If I was to redo this build again, I would pick this up. I just was having a lot of luck with the E and the buffed Bound by Shadows that I felt like this was just so strong now. The way this ability works is your Corruption deals additional burst damage when you hit targets, and if you hit the third strike, you do an additional 454 damage. Plus, you're still doing your damage over time, so it just really, I would say, not doubles the damage, but it certainly adds a lot more damage to your E. I think it increases it by 30%. 33%, something like that. And then you can lower the cooldown quite a bit. So I do get the Rain of Destruction off, and this is actually where I really like Rain. When you're sieging, it's hitting everything, and the enemies don't know if they should be fighting in this either. So like half the enemies are like, let's fight in this, the other half the enemies are like, we're taking way too much damage. Which is where I actually really like Rain of Destruction when you're sieging forward. It's great when you're fighting on an objective because, again, like, I would say on Infernal Shrines, it's probably best case scenario is you drop down in Rain of Destructions on Infernal Shrines, and it just kind of hits everything, steals the objective, deals a ton of damage. It's really cool. I mean, my damage is starting to get really, really high this game. 80,000 damage versus the Hanzo that's at 30,000 or 50,000. So I've got 30,000 more than he does. I don't know if it's mainly just that E-build has been buffed or if it is the Rain of Destruction that's adding this up. I'm not exactly sure. I wish I could do a breakdown of abilities to see what's been doing the damage, but either way, I mean, pushing with that Rain of Destruction felt like really, really good. And we were able to get front walls there. I feel like the rest of this is pretty bad. Again, another dodge on the swaps. I was on it this game. I don't know if I was on like what I was doing, but I was definitely on it. We get pretty good camps, I would say, overall. This game, I think we play it pretty well. I mean, we lost every objective in the beginning. We finally won one objective. We got the Rain of Destruction. Now, I will say, while Horrify is an amazing utility, and it's, I would say, still one of the best ults in the game, Deep Impact, when you upgrade it, it makes it where your Rain of Destruction will do a 90% slow for 0.5 seconds every time you hit someone. This is actually an incredible amount of utility, and it does really, really buff the ability and the utility and everything of gul'dan when you get to level 20. So I think you hit a much bigger power spike in Rain of Destruction at 20 than you would in the other build. But either way, I mean, we have a pretty janky fight here. I don't remember exactly how this plays out. I may just Rain here defensively, but I really can't remember. Okay, I do get the ult. This guy right here. So again, I try to get the E off to where I can hit him twice with it, but he ends up swapping out of the first area and then repositioning. He still dies, but I do go up top, I think, to clear. Oh no, I guess I just leave it up there. I go for my little race combo. But in general, this race is not fast. You can see I'm fast forwarding ×2 there, and it is a very, very slow race. Like, they outrace us. If they're all alive, they outrace us. So we definitely need to take the defense here. Now, we go up to, I guess we just race. Interesting. I thought this is the part where we did go on defense. Yeah, so we're going to go on defense here. And I go straight for a Rain of Destruction. Now, let's talk about this Rain for a second. Let's watch this. Let's go in the eyes of this I don't know, this Morales. Let's say we're in the eyes of the Morales right now. She gets in this fight. She gets thrown in, taunted. And look, 90% slow, she dies. Let's go in the eyes of someone else on their team. Let's go with, like, this Hanzo. Boom, 90% slow, 90% slow. This guy's out of this fight. All he got hit by this game was the Rain of Destruction, and he's like, nope, that's enough for me. He just got hit by something over and over and over. I killed the Morales. I killed I mean, just took out everyone. Like, there's nothing that they can do. I gotta find myself again. There we go. I mean, that lives with, like, no health. Rain of Destruction at 20 is actually really scary. So unlike the Jaina build, where at the end of it, I said, you definitely should never go that build, I don't know with Rain of Destruction. I'm not sure yet. I feel like there's times where it's actually pretty good. On this map, no. But maybe on Infernal Shrines, where you drop down a Rain of Destruction, that could win the objective for you. While at level 20, it's like game ending and 90% slow. You pretty much are rooting like random people and doing a good amount of damage. I mean, it's crazy. So we will be seeing likely another push with the Rain of Destruction coming up soon, as I'll have it up in a few seconds. I do get swapped in that time, and I get pulled out and saved by my team. So right here is a great time if I just wanted to use Rain of Destruction. It does get interrupted. Great grenade coming out of the Morales. But I do, yeah, we just die here. I could Rain of Destruction defensively, yeah. So like, watch this slow. Like again, I'll unlock here, and just look at this. Like they're getting hit by these big slows, and while Porky's dead, I mean they can't really follow up too much. I'll just sidestep that, you know, as you do. So right here was pretty tough. Like, I knew he was going to jump over here, so I tried to go down, and I need to dodge his Q, but then I had to drain just to survive the next auto attack. So I drained to survive the auto attack, but while I was draining, he could hit me with anything. So I tried that fight out in my head a few times. It just didn't work. And we'll fast forward through my death. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I will say that it's I think Rain of Destruction now is better than people are making it out to be, but at the same time, Horrify is still so good. So I'd say like in coordinated teams, you definitely still want to go Horrify. The ability to be able to pull the team away, and again, look at this Rain. Look how much damage they took right there. Half of the Morales' health off of just the Rain of Destruction. The 90% slow made it to where she got hit by the last proc of the Corruption. Now, she doesn't die from that, but still, I mean, it's so much damage. So in this situation, I believe I go and clear up the objective, or clear up the camp. So this is kind of what I'm talking about right now, where you can, I guess I didn't do that. I figured I was going to eat the catapult there, but I didn't do it. So I had a fountain before I joined my team again, and it's a really rough position. I mean, my team does get a kill there. I can drain on him just to survive long enough for Lifebinder to get value. Great Lifebinder. And now my team's just carrying me. I get a pretty good corruption, and we go back to racing. And this, I mean, so far we're at 135,000 siege damage, 135,000 hero damage, and I mean the enemy Hanzo's at 78,000. Like, he doesn't even know what's going on. These team fights, one of those team fights, I literally got him down to like 20% off of just Rain of Destruction. So it's definitely, I don't know. It's so hard for me to say to pick anything over Horrify, but it is definitely scary. I don't like that we're fighting so far out without our Immortal. It's just forcing us to take kind of awkward fights. I do get a nice Rain of Destruction in right here. The RNG got a little weird. The first half of it all shot over here, but then on the second half we can see that it does slow these two, which gets them caught in the trap. Look at this slow. Look at all this right here. So firstly, you have the Morales who can't move at all. You have the Murden who can't move to save his team. So Morales can't get out. She takes the double damage from the Corruption, as well as the damage from the Rain of Destruction, which at this level is doing 407 damage. And then the Murden can't get anywhere. We see a nice 90% slow again onto right there onto the Greymane, twice onto the Greymane. It's like you're using Earthquake and like Lava Wave into the Earthquake at the same time. It's just crazy. Like they know they need to get out of it, but they just can't. I don't really worry about the Muradin too much. Again, I do a lot of damage with my E. It procs 3 times. Look at all that damage over time from the E. So to go over the build one more time, you pick up that good Corruption. I just feel like it's just the most damage. This whole build's about damage. As you can see, about 150,000 both siege and hero damage. Consume Soul for the burst healing, deals with catapults. Bound by Shadows to make your E build absolutely insane. Rain of Destruction. And then Healthstone. The only one that I'm debating is like how much value you're going to get off of Rain of Destruction. I would say on the maps that are more Rain of Destruction oriented, pick that up or the life tap talent instead of the Ruinous Affliction, and then go into the Deep Impact at level 20. We saw the value of it. It's absolutely insane. So, is Rain of Destruction good? I'm not sure yet. I feel like it's pretty good. But I think in competitive, if you're ever still working with your team, you need to go Horrify. But if you're ever just in your own game and you just feel like you need more damage, I say go for it. Try it out. Let's see how it goes, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free to check out my other videos.